Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and we're excited to have you. This week, we're going to be chatting about content creation and like our honest tips and the reality of it and all the good stuff that comes along with it.
Yay. So, we're going to talk about like what we think it means to be a content creator, and we're going to be telling tips for sure, but some of it isn't tips that you would normally think of, like, physical how to post and all of that. There's more that goes into it. And we didn't write this down, but let's talk about how long we've been. Well, I guess we did talk about how we're going to do our content creation journey. So yeah, let's kind of get into that. We found each other through social media. Like that's how Ashley and I met. It's through social media. And we've talked about that before in another episode, but we wanted to kind of talk about how long we've been doing this or all that so that you have at least some knowledge of, I guess, our credibility in this space. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first. My brain
Okay.
is not fully awake yet.
I know. So, okay. I started, I don't know when I really started like posting on social media in general, but when I say content creator, I'm saying like when I started using social media to make an income. So it started for me in 2014 when I started network marketing. That's when I started using it to make an income. At the time, network marketing was still very much old school. You go to someone's party, they talk about their stuff, and you buy from them. And I was like, that's not going to fly for me. I'm not going to be like leading a party. I'm not doing any of that stuff. And that was like I think right at the cusp of when people started to use social media for network marketing. And I've already talked about how I'm not in the network marketing space anymore, but that's how I started was starting to think about marketing on social media. And I know now that's like marketing for social media is actually a degree that you can get. You go to school for that. And I learned it from being in network marketing and seeing other people using it to market themselves and how people talk about branding now and branding themselves. I mean, that wasn't a thing back then. They didn't have affiliate marketing, like to know it, Amazon Associates, like all that stuff was not even nearly going to be around back then. I don't actually really know when it came out, but I don't think it was close to being around when I started working on social media. And so 2014 was when I started. It changed my entire life. And I went to school for health administration. Like I have a master's in health administration, clearly not in social media or marketing or anything like that. But you can learn. I mean, nowadays you could learn everything just from watching YouTube videos. If you seek out the information, like you can learn it all. And so I love creating my entire life. I've loved doing art. And so I think, I love learning. I love creating. I love art. I liked taking pictures. And so it just kind of all came together. And somehow I like melded it all and made a very successful business for myself through network marketing, but off social media, like basically 100% off social media. And like I said, I had no background in that. I just learned from other people. And we're going to talk today about how you could do the same exact thing. And it's even easier now than it was back then. Um, let's see, what else did I write down? I made a lot of friends because of social media. And yeah, now they have all sorts of different avenues. It doesn't even involve network marketing that you can make an income off of social media. I think that's all I have for the moment.
So I wouldn't say like I'm a full like I would say I create content. I don't know if I'm like the biggest content creator because it like when you think content creation, like it can either be for fun or for an income. I would say like for a while it's just kind of I was hoping for an income, but like I would say I haven't been that profitable. But
Profit
I
off of social media. You've made an income,
I
right?
have. I haven't
Yes.
made like the biggest income, but like let's be
No, it
honest.
doesn't matter how much you've made because that is relevant to the person.
Exactly. I was gonna say, I mean, I think it's better than nothing. Like it's more than like what you had before you started. So,
Yes. You're making
um,
something, which is what a lot of people are going to watch and want to hear, is that they want to make it something.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
made something, but I've always like had like Facebook. I think I've had Facebook, it literally said since 2006 or something. Like I remember I made my Facebook like and pretended I was like in some college and I was like 10 years older. Like this was like back in the day when like Facebook was only for college people. I've had
Yeah.
Instagram since it came out. Like I've had Snapchat at one point. I think like obviously I still have a Snapchat, but I don't use it. But I've had Pinterest. Like I've had all these different accounts. TikTok when it came out, I think I was pretty like fast on the band. I remember I had Vine at one point, like so many different like things. And I was just like always posting for fun. I never knew what I was posting. I was just kind of posting for fun, but I never understood social media. And I've talked about this before, but like I just never understood social media. I don't understand the point. I was like, what am I even doing here? And then I was on the way home. I want to say it was from Thailand. I was on the way home from Thailand and I saw a documentary. It was like about the first like influencer online. And I was like, this person's just like a normal person that like made an income posting on social media and like telling her story. And I was like, I could do this. And that's kind of like when I reached out to Jackie and started network marketing. And then like I feel like network marketing helped me build a lot of my skills of like what I was doing. But I love doing research. I love like finding things out for myself. So like watched a lot of YouTube when I was a nanny. I nannied for this family for 5 years and like I really didn't spend any time with the kids. Like I would say I spent more time in the laundry room than I did with the children. And I would literally just like sit there and watch YouTube videos. And like when I clean the house, like just play YouTube on YouTube and just like watch everything I can about social media and like how to use it and like what to do with it. And I feel like there's so many avenues and like so many ways you can go. And I feel like I'm the type of person where I want to do it all, like literally all. And I've kind of did my toes here and there, but I would say I found most success. Like I miss Instagram bonuses. Those were great when we had those for like a short period of time. I did make a little bit of money through network marketing. Facebook I continue to get paid from, which has not stopped. And Facebook has actually gotten better with their paid amount, I feel like too. And I actually get paid, like I would say a lot of my income comes from paid sounds for TikTok, which is super fun and super easy. And I really want to get more into it. I feel like I just haven't kept up with it as the way I would like to. So, and there's other ways, like I would like to eventually do digital, like I've kind of started making digital products, but I've never actually sold them. So just like digital products. I remember one point I was like trying to make t-shirts and sell t-shirts. Like there's so many different ways to like actually make an income and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
think though, like the point where like I realized though, like I can do it was just like when I was just like easily getting the content up because I feel like that's what really you need to have stuff up. Like it's about having that content getting up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But being consistent. And sometimes it takes a little bit to know, and we'll talk about that, like what what you're going to actually post about. And because I think a lot of the first
Mm.
like thoughts about posting, especially if you haven't really done it like to make an income or whatever, or maybe you don't post a lot, is like, what am I even gonna post about? Like who wants to
Yeah,
watch me?
it's
Right? And
so true.
we still think that.
I mean, it's so true. And I think that's the challenge too. And I think too, like life gets like you get caught up in life. Like you're like, oh, it doesn't matter if I don't post, but like every day you don't post and every day you fall behind, you're like, I feel like you're losing your opportunity because you have to build up those posts. You don't know like who's gonna like see that post and like want to know and trust you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's first talk about imposter syndrome, which
Hmm.
is something that I think everyone feels. Like it's kind of that, am I too boring? Like who wants to see my house isn't super aesthetic, so who's gonna want to see it? Or I'm just a stay-at-home mom, so what am I gonna talk about? Or I go to a corporate job, my life is so boring, right? And so I think that ev- every the thing is, here's what I'm thinking. Reality TV is something that everyone watches. Almost everyone watches reality TV, right? In some form or another, whether it's like, on the TV, one of those shows like The Bachelor or whatever. I don't really watch that, but I watch YouTube vlogs, which is also reality TV. It's not like produced and stuff, but everyone likes some form of reality TV. If you watch social media and you watch Reels and TikToks, kind of the same thing. And people just want to see into other people's lives, even if you think it's the most boring thing because you're just showing, like, I don't know, doing the dishes, like things I normally do every day, the dishes, the laundry, like whatever, go on walks. Like that sounds like, to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, who the heck wants to watch that? But people want to watch that. They do. And so you just kind of have to get around that and realize that someone's going to relate to you. If they're going to relate to your kitchen, that's not all white and beautiful and whatever, like who cares? Like not everyone has that. That's most people don't have that. And they just want to relate. And so the more normal that you can be, I feel like the more relatable and the more people just want to watch what's
Yeah.
going on.
I feel like it's about telling your story. Like and I think I said this when like we first started, but like you can be like, I had a turkey sandwich today. Okay, cool. Like no one really is like exciting. But if you're like, I was so excited today. I found like I realized I had turkey in the house and like I love a good turkey sandwich. Does anyone else love a good turkey sandwich? Like it's really about telling your story. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just and I feel like two people want to find people that like they're like, oh, that person does what I do, or that person's like me, right? Like we all want to not feel alone.
Yeah. Or coming from my angle, because I do post about food sometimes, it's either the angle of I'm trying to eat healthy on the go. So maybe I make a turkey sandwich on the way to car line. So I'm talking about how easy it is. It's a
Hmm.
healthy option. I'm taking it with me on the go. It's like that story, like Ashley's saying. Or um, I don't know, I'm trying to meal prep and a turkey sandwich is, or just turkey rolled up or whatever, is something easy that I can meal prep. And so we're talking about how I'm so busy and I'm a mom or I'm working full time or whatever it is, and I just don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to meal prep. And people love watching that kind of stuff. So even if it seems mundane and normal, like yes, but people want to relate to you. And so what Ashley's saying is the story is how they're going to relate
Story
to it.
cell.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
telling, but like telling your story. I think, I think too, so many people think that like, oh, like I'm just Joe Schmo from wherever. Like, who wants to know about Joe Schmo? But like, your story's so important. There is someone out there that wants to hear your story. And if you don't share your story and continue to share your story, then that person will never hear you.
Yeah, every person on social media is just a human, like just a human that lives their life, and some of them just show some of their life. Like we think we're seeing a ton, but really you're not seeing very much.
Hmm.
They're just doing it in a way where they're telling their feelings, they're being vulnerable, they're telling a story, and people want to hear that. They want to hear what you're thinking, and what
Yeah.
you're doing and see what you're doing. So it's kind of like those two together.
I mean, too, at the end of the day, what if no one watches your stuff, but you get to watch your stuff 2 years later, 3 years later, and you're like, wow, that was a really good day I had, or wow, that was like a really good recipe. I should try that again. Like, I feel like too, like it's your mindset. Like, if you're only doing it for the views, then it becomes like this addiction. Like, oh my God, I got 5 views. Oh my gosh, I got no views. But like, if you owned a store, right? And you own this like little cute little store in the middle of town and no one came in today, right? It is what it is. But then tomorrow, maybe 20 people come in. How awesome would you feel about that? Right. So I feel like it's part of the journey, like, right? But you get to look back on that journey and be like, wow, I did that. And like, it's so funny because I will look back on my lives and I used to do lives like every day, which I would like to get back to doing lives more often because that's like was my thing. But I would do like lives every single day and I would go back and like listen to these lives sometimes and I'm like, wow, I had a really good day that day. Or wow, that happened to me.
Yeah.
Like a
It was
form
really
of like
inspiring.
journaling. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Glenn will go back in Facebook memories and he'll be like, look at this, look at that. And I'll go back to like my super old Facebook posts. So way back in the day, and this is a lot off topic, but it used to not just be like you would type a post out.
Hmm.
It would physically say on there, Jackie is, or Jackie,
Yes.
and then you would like Jackie is, and then you would write like going to the beach. Like, so that's what I would write. It's just like going to the beach. I'm like, but it made sense at the time because that's what the prompt was. It's so funny, like really old Facebook.
Yes, I
Um,
remember I used to text Facebook like when I would like I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day, you can text Facebook like your status updates.
Really?
Yeah.
Never did that. Interesting. Yeah, there's so many changes. It's fun. Um, yeah, and your confidence will grow as you do it. And so what you were saying before, hold on. You were saying like what if only 20 people see it? Imagine 20 people in your room watching you do your dishes. That's a lot of people standing there in your kitchen with you. Like when people are like, I'm in 200 Facebook jail, and 200 people are, I'm like, do you know how many seats or how big of a room it takes to fill 200 people?
It's
It's like
crazy.
a big wedding. Like it's like a large wedding. Like I don't, that's a lot of people. And so, yeah, I know like more views can equal maybe like more brand deals and stuff. And we'll get into that. But at the same time, everyone starts at the very beginning. Not everyone, very few people start TikTok and get like a million views right away. Like that just usually doesn't happen. So we all start at the beginning.
You'll have to start somewhere. It's at any job, right? Think about like social media, like content creating is like any job. Like you show up to a job, you have to go for the training, you have to go through all the work, and then like you're still not confident at the beginning, right? You're just showing up and hoping for the best, right? And then let's say like 6 months later, you're like, okay, so today we're gonna do this, this, that, and the third. Like it goes from like, what are we doing today to this, that, and the third. And then when people are like coming to you and being like, hey, how do I handle this situation? Because you've been there for so long. Like that's what content creation is just like another job.
Yeah, which is cool. It's because it's something you can do on your own time, which is really cool. Um, we did write down the what will people I know think of me situation, which I know that I personally did go through in the very beginning. Like I really cared. I really, really cared about what people thought of me. And I was doing network marketing, which also, while I cared what people thought of me online, I also was doing network marketing, which still has a whole stigma to it, even to this day, even though it's well, a lot more prominent than it was back then. And so I had like a lot going against my ego at the time. And I just kept going and it got easier and easier. Like, I don't, besides doing self development that we always talk about, I just think you just got to keep posting and because you'll get better at it, right? You'll get more people eventually viewing your stuff and you'll eventually realize it's not that big of a deal. Like
Ah,
if people want to watch it, they will. And if they don't want to watch it, they won't. And a lot of my support came from people that were not my friends. And
mhm.
I love my friends, but a lot of the strangers are the people that were supporting me. They were, helping me build. And that's okay. Like, it's totally okay. So don't worry about what everyone else is thinking because every single person in this world has someone that doesn't like them.
I think too.
Like,
I think too for like that situation, like what would people think of me? Like, why do you think that like people are saying they're judging you? Like, right? Why do you think Joe Schmo is like looking at your stories every single day to judge you? Like, it's
yeah,
really about your mindset, I think too. Like, I had to get through this also because so I grew up in like a very Jewish household. Like, a lot of people I follow are Jewish, and like so like posting about non-kosher restaurant, even though like my family's super Jewish, like that's a weird, subject. Like, do I post about it? Do I not? Who cares? Like, if these people really cared, they'll probably delete you. They probably don't want to watch you anymore. They'll probably block
yeah,
you. Who cares?
yeah,
Right? Like, if these people do care about you, though, they're not gonna be like, oh my God, this girl, can't believe she went there. Like, they're just gonna like support you for your journey. And I think that's the thing too, is like taking social media and like it's your journey. Like you're expressing your journey. And so, yeah, I ate non-kosher day. Wowzies. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna like hop through the phone or like hop through your computer and be like, oh my God, girlfriend? Shame on you. Like, seriously. Like, I think that's the thing about it is like you have to stop thinking that the person that is going to judge you is going to judge you. Like, if they are, let them.
right, right.
I mean, let's be honest, the more hateful comments you get, it's just your post is going to be more popular. It's fine.
Oh, I follow this girl. I love her on TikTok. I think her name's Mina or something. And she's always like, these people comment like things on my social media posts and they don't realize that they're now going to see more of my posts. because they're commenting the stuff on my posts. And I'm like, it's so true. Like it both boosts her post and they're going to see more information like it or see more of her post. It just cracks me up. But yeah, the Mel Robbins literally just came out with a book called The Let Them Theory, and I haven't read it yet. Probably should be one of our book club books, but I love the concept. Like just let them, like what is it going to do to your life?
Mhm.
They're going to go tell their friend who's going to tell their brother, who's going to tell their mom, and their mom's going to be like, who is that? And I don't care, you know? So, like, just let them be upset. If someone, when it gets down to it, if someone is upset at someone else, it is on them. It has nothing to do with you or what you're posting. It has to do with them and their ego, and they're jealous or they realize they would love to be doing something. Maybe it's not even what you're doing, but they want to be doing something more with their lives and they won't let themselves. And so they're upset with you because you're doing something and stepping out of your comfort zone. People are always going to be upset when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, but it's okay. Um, and you just got to take control. You got to take control of your own life. Be a big girl or boy if you're not a woman watching this, and you just got to keep going because you're just going to learn so much. Like even if you don't end up being a huge content creator, there's so much skill and so much that I've learned that I can take with me into like the real world that I've learned from social media
Mhm.
and by doing this. So
Yeah.
anyway, we kind of talked about being authentic already, but let's kind of step into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about being relatable and just being you. And I think as long as you continue to like ask yourself what I'm posting, does it feel right? Does it feel like me? Does it feel right? And if it doesn't, then that's not for you. You need to like put that down and figure out like, and not that everything it's gonna feel awkward. Like I'm not talking about that. It's gonna feel awkward because you've never done it before. But I'm saying like if you're posting something and you're like, oh, I saw this girl doing it, so I'm doing it, but doesn't really feel like my vibe, then stop and pivot and do something else. So,
I think too, like being authentic is like, your kids are crying in the background and you're like, oh, I should probably not like post my story right now, but like, or like my kids are like laughing and joking, whatever it is, like post, just post. Like nobody cares what's actually going on in the background. The only one is carrying in that moment is you. And people want to see that authentic, like, this is my real life. Like, this is what my house looks like. Like, I have a pile of dishes. I have children in the background laughing. My children made a huge mess in the living room. Like, that's authentic. That is being you. Like, you don't need a perfect house. You don't need to be someone else. You don't need to follow a trend, like Jackie saying that you don't like, right? And I think too, so many people, we copy so many people, but like, you shouldn't be copying people. You should be looking at people for ideas and then saying, how can I make this my own idea?
yeah, absolutely. Like make it feel like you. But yeah, I mean it is obviously that's where you kind of first get ideas too, is like seeing what other people are doing and because there's so many things you could be doing. There's so many things you could be recording. And Ashley always tells me, like, just record what you do normally.
Hmm.
Like, just record what you do normally. You're doing the dishes and record that. You're doing this, do that. And then as I've been doing that, I've been learning, like, I've been taking it to the next level. Okay, instead of just videoing myself from one angle and using that, oh, maybe I'll move the camera around a little bit. Like, I just, it
Yeah.
takes a while to get there.
Get
But just
creative with it.
yeah, and you can do that over time, but just you just gotta start. And even if you just practice videoing yourself, even if you don't use it, like I've done that too. I've been saying I want to do vlogs. I've now recorded myself for 2 different days as a vlog, and I still haven't edited it. I don't know if I will, but I'm like, it's practice though. It's practice. And so sometimes you just have to practice.
I think
Uh,
too, like you have to like I guess like be mindful. This is something like Jackie and I were talking about before we hopped on, but like, think about your day, think about like what you can record, think about the night before, like, you know, be mindful. Like, there's so much you can record. Like, it could be something so simple and you don't even need to be in it, right? It's so simple as like tying your shoelaces, like such a simple B-roll film, right? Like, right? And find your style. Like, your style might be all you just chit-chatting, or your style might be like mostly B-roll, right? Being authentic means finding your style, finding your creativity, finding what makes you excited about creating that content, right? So if you're like, oh, I have to film myself bake and I don't like filming myself bake, then why are you filming yourself baking? Like, but you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to do arts and crafts with my children today. I can't wait. I want to like, if you're excited about that, then film that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't have my kids in any of my stuff, but sometimes it'll be like their hands, like it won't be their actual face or have to cover it up. But I agree. I agree. Film stuff that like makes you excited because there's so many different creators. There's creators that, show
Mhm.
activities that they create for their kids, even if their kids aren't in it. I just followed some girl recently, and that's what she does. She has these like boxes that she makes with activities for every week. And I don't for most of her videos, I don't think she has her kids in them, but you can do all sorts of things. I just had and something else we wrote down is even though it's uncomfortable to do, it's going to inspire other people.
Mhm.
100%. Even if you feel like this is so boring, it's going to inspire someone because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have a kitchen that is beautiful and she still posts all of her content in her kitchen. Like, it inspires other people to want to do it too because they are the same as you.
Some
And you'll
people
find
just
your
want to like feel
people.
like they're like part, like I don't know, like I feel like when you see someone that has like an imperfection living and they're like, my house is a mess, this is my life, like makes you
Yeah,
feel more normal inside.
yeah, absolutely.
I
Okay,
think, oh,
you go ahead. Is there anything else you want to say?
well, we were gonna talk about too is just like, right, like if you love doing your makeup, you love doing your hair, make it a series. Like, right? You don't need to post 15 different things, right? You don't need to post like a day in my life, let's cook breakfast, let's cook dinner. Like just make one series or two series. Like if you do a reset every Sunday, that's your series. There's a creator, I was telling Jackie about this. There's a creator I follow and she talks about how when she started like social media, she had free series doing her hair. It was like a Sunday reset. I want to say like it was like a morning vlog. And that was like her series. That's it. That's all she did. Or was running errands, like whatever it was. Like those were her series. And that was like where she felt comfortable. She didn't feel like she had to video the whole day. She didn't feel like she had to like post that's the thing too, is like yes, it could be a job content creating, but it shouldn't be your entire life. You don't go to a job 24 hours a day. You go to a job from 8 hours, maybe 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, right? Think about content creating like that. Like, what can I post that is short increments of my day or my
Yeah,
life? Or like Jackie and I will get more into this in our practical tips. I mean, I could start it even, but right, is creating like a content bank of right? Like, oh, I'm crying. Let me take a video of that. Or I'm baking, right? It can be like from 4 months ago you're baking, right? But creating like a content bank of all the footage, and then when you have a good idea, you can just go into your content bank, find the footage, and boom, bada bang. You don't even have to film today.
I love how different we are. I'm never going to film myself crying. I love you.
I heard it from a content creator and it stuck with me.
You know
I
what
don't,
else I don't like doing is filming myself in public. So you don't have to. If you
yeah.
don't want to, you don't have to do that. Like, I don't know. There's just things you don't have to do. Sometimes I want to push myself out of my comfort zone, but I'm at that point now. But
But
there's just things like I don't want to. You don't have to.
exactly. Like you are creating the content. You are in charge. You are the artist. You get
Yeah.
to choose where the canvas is and what you're
Yeah.
gonna put on that
Yeah.
canvas.
And how much you want to show and yeah, absolutely. Um, okay. Practical tips.
Yeah.
Jump in. The first one says, just start, even if you don't feel ready. It's true.
It's so true. And like I think like we were saying earlier, it's just take as practice. Like I have so much content in my phone that I've never posted. Like, and I'm like, and you will find the time eventually to post it, let's be honest. But like sometimes it's just practice, right? Or say today I am going to film XYZ or I'm going to take photos of XYZ, right? And you might not have the confidence to post it yet, but you started the process.
Yeah. I feel like even though I've been doing this since 2014, I was telling Ashley right before we started, I feel like I'm in a new season because I actually was offline all summer of 2023 up until I barely was back on until like a year later. Like I just really started really ramping up in the past few months. I was on and off for like a whole year, year and a half. And so I feel like I'm almost like a newbie, even though I know a lot, because I'm figuring out what do I want to post about
Hmm.
in this season? Like, what do I want to post about? How much do I want to share? How am I going to make a
Hmm.
schedule for myself that feels right to where I'm still giving enough to my family and all of that? Because we have very big dreams. Like we're doing this, I have my own content creation, and we have other things that we want to do. And so, yeah, I just had to start. Like in a lot of what I've been posting, I'm very proud of it, but I just felt like I needed to go. And we do use Chat GPT quite a bit. I don't even know if we wrote about Bestie in this like episode, but we really should talk about that because ChatGPT, like you can ask any question. You can say, "This is what I want to post. I want to post about being a mom, doing daily house chores. Help me create posts, caption, whatever. Help me create ideas for videos." I mean, you could ask. We use it a lot, but I was using it a lot for like some captions and things like that because I just needed to start. Like just needed to like get back into it. And now that I'm in the groove a little bit more, I'm like, okay, now I want to like take it to the next level and just be like more personal and more intimate. But sometimes you just have to start, and I just needed to do that. So I feel like I'm in that spot right now where I
I feel
just
like I
gotta do it.
use Bestie. So before we call it Bestie. We call ChatGPT our Bestie. But before I use ChatGPT, I would like go. So I have dysgraphia, as we know. We've talked about this in like every other episode.
Wait, explain it really quickly one time, just because if someone else hasn't seen it.
So dysgraphia is basically it's under dyslexia umbrella, but it has to do with just writing. So my brain will go faster in my hand. I forget the main point of like what I'm writing. I forget and I forget is. I like will write the end of the sentence as the beginning of the sentence. So like just a lot of like grammar issues. And then like my spelling is absolutely terrible because I never did third grade, so I never learned basic spelling. So I would use Google Docs to write all my posts before like ChatGPT was a thing because Google Docs is like would fix your grammar, fix your spelling, and like it wasn't perfect, but it was better than like what you would have gotten if I just was like, dude,
Yeah.
on like directly wrote the caption. So I use ChatGPT a lot. I pretty much will write all my captions ahead of time. And then I'll just go to ChatGPT and be like, hey, can you fix my grammar, my spelling? So like, let me tell you, having dysgraphia and having like an app like that is like a godsend. Like, I don't even know how to explain to you. Like, if I had this my entire life, probably done a lot better in school.
Yeah. I think it's really helpful. I mean, you could have it create your own caption. Ideally, you'd want either to have an idea like Ashley and then have it just kind of like I'll even say I don't use the word enhance, but that works too. Um I'll say something like that. Like, can you take this post and like enhance it? And like it just like makes it like flow better. Like
Yeah.
it's really good, but ideally you want to be either doing that or it can create a caption for you, and then you're kind of changing it and making it inputting some of your own personalness into it. And so either way, but ChatGPT is great for just starting because
Yeah, and a lot of things have AI now. Like, you could do it in Canva. Like, you can write a document in Canva and it'll change stuff. I actually find Canva's like little AI like fixing is really good for like when you're doing professional stuff, better than ChatGPT, I find. I don't know why, but and then like I know social media, like Facebook started rolling out with that. And like even Notion we use has that. So a lot of places are rolling out with it. But we just use ChatGPT because that's the basic, the good one, you know?
yeah, and you can, yeah, we really like it. Bestie, it always gives me good vibes. But yeah, I also wrote down like post like no one's watching because honestly, like in the beginning, you won't have a lot of people watching anyway. So you
Mhm.
don't have to be nervous because you're not even that many people right away watching you. And you can use that as your season to
Mhm.
get started, start learning, practice, right? Practice makes perfect. We've heard that since we were little. So you
Mhm.
just continue to practice, continue to do it, and you're going to get better and better and better and better.
Yeah, there's a lot of skills you have to like hone to get like to like if you're, taking a photo, right? You're gonna take that photo, you have to edit that photo. You then have to like get a caption, right? You still have to post. There's so many steps. But just think about it. Every step you complete, you're closer to that goal of getting that up.
Yep.
And I
So
think too, like you can literally put your phone anywhere and record. Like you can put it on a water bottle. You don't need like a fancy tripod. You don't need like a fancy suction cup thing in the back. You don't need anything fancy. I mean, like I feel like I do like fancy stuff. Like my phone has a magnet on the back, but you don't need anything fancy. You literally can just put it anywhere. And that's usually what I do. I usually just stick it on something and I'm like, film, film.
yeah. I think my tripod was like $20 too. So like they're not that expensive. You can get one.
No.
And I would say if you're going to get a tripod, just make sure to get one that is as tall as you are or taller. It makes it easier and better for filming and whatnot. I only use it at home. You definitely do not take, I'm not the person that's going to take my tripod out with me somewhere. I don't feel comfortable doing it. Other people do. It's great. Like just not me.
I think of
So
this lady I follow. I laugh every time, but she actually puts it in her little vlogs. Ugh, she's so funny, but she like is like she'll film herself going to the car and then she'll be film herself running back from the car, be like, I gotta go get the tripod again. I gotta go get the tripod again.
yeah,
And I laugh because she puts it in the vlogs. Like she's
yeah,
just so, and that's the thing is like that's her style. Like, right? Like her style is just honest and like this is what it is. Even though she finally admitted, so there was this like before the TikTok ban, everyone like released their secrets, and she's like, she admitted her biggest TikTok secret was like she doesn't film like some of her videos inside. She bought like a kitchen slab, like literally a countertop that matches her kitchen countertop, and put it outside and filmed all her like food, like what they eat in a day videos outside.
interesting. It's like better lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's so
fun.
crazy though. I was like,
Need that.
forever we've been fooled.
My kitchen lighting's not very good, so that's
I mean,
actually
my lighting right now is terrible, let's be honest. So
this is probably the best lighting that I have in my house.
which is a great tip. Like if you really want to invest, get a good lighting, get a good equipment, really like, and you don't need to start that way, but like as you go.
Yeah. Okay, wait, stop now because we have less than a minute. But to kind of end this little point, it's always consistency over perfection. We overthink everything. Like the two of us always talk about how we're overthinking all of it. So it's okay. It's okay. You just have to bring yourself back and be like, it's not that big of a deal. I just need to try. And it doesn't, you don't even have to post every single day. Like we take off Saturdays completely and don't post anything. And this week I'm actually thinking of taking a couple extra days off because I just feel like I need more time to kind of get my thoughts together because I'm in this stage of like transition into what I want to kind of be doing next. And I just feel like I need more thought process for that. So, if you can get up every other day, get a video up, and then that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. And don't overthink it. Just do it, post it, move along. It gets better and better.
I feel like too, like it's just so important to be consistent. Like that's something I've struggled on like for a long time. And I think like making sure you're planning ahead of time. Like if you have a plan, you're better to be consistent. I think too, like it's okay to overshoot and then like, but don't get mad at yourself when you're not consistent. Like, be like, okay, as long as I get XYZ, I'm gonna try to get up like 5 posts this week, but as long as I get 2 up, I did what I need to do. So like, it's the way you look at consistency too.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't need to like hold your like, don't get mad at yourself. Like, take it one step at a time.
Yeah. Also, one thing I was just thinking about is when I see someone's post and I'm like, oh, I really like this post, I go to their page. And if I notice that they haven't posted for like a week or two previous to that post, like I'm not going to follow them because I want to follow someone that's consistently coming out. And I'm not saying every single day, but someone that like at least a couple times a week or so. Like if I'm going to follow you, I want to be able to see you. Like I'm interested in your stuff. And so if you're not posting consistently, like I won't follow them. So
Yeah.
just think about that too when you're posting and like you just want to be relevant and like have people be able to come back and see you.
I feel like too, like if you think about it like that, like I feel like I'm definitely one of those people, but like I feel like it can get confusing too because you're like posting like one thing and then you change to another thing and then this thing. Like it's okay to have a couple niches, but like when you're like every day just randomly posting, like people don't know what to follow you, right? So that's again why your story's so important. Like make sure you're telling your story. Like people want to know who you are. Like people are going to care more about what you're posting if you're telling your story. And that's part of that consistency is like making sure your story is heard, making sure
Yeah.
that people understand why you're posting what you're posting. So if you decide to post about, I don't know, cooking one day, Disney the next day, and like every day of the week it's something different, like that's a little hard for people to understand and follow, right? I think too, like having your bio match what you're gonna post.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we said the word B-roll earlier. If you don't know what that is, that's just like video that you're not talking in. It's like me doing the dishes, but I'm not talking to the camera, or me at Disney, but I'm not talking to the camera. And I think that you can have different B-roll because I do post about Disney sometimes, and sometimes I do feel like mine is out of the blue. However, I try to put in the caption or the voiceover or the on-screen text something to do with wellness, mental health, because that's what I post about. And so even if it's B-roll that isn't my normal mom life because I'm at Disney once every 2 weeks, I try to make it cohesive and similar, if that makes sense. So maybe I'll have a voiceover talking about how I'm taking time for my self-care today because I do talk about that as,
Yeah.
does that make sense? Am I making sense? Am I saying that?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
I feel like too, like it's okay to post different things in the beginning to see what people like.
Or what you like.
Yeah.
Really, what you like.
What you
Yeah.
like and what other people are liking, like that's okay. Like you
Yeah.
don't need to know. And I feel like some people don't have a niche. Like they're just posting about their life. But if you're just posting about your life, then your life story again is most important.
Yeah.
So,
Right, absolutely. People want to know more about you. So even if I don't like talking to the camera, it's on my list this year to do more of. I'm figuring out a way that I can do that, but I at least will do voiceovers.
yeah.
So I'm just making the whole video where I'm not talking to the camera and then adding the voiceover later. And so people can at least relate to me in that way and hear my
Yeah.
voice and understand what I'm thinking. And it's not just a watching what I'm doing, it's I'm giving part of me.
To it. Yeah. I think too, B-roll is not just you. That was another thing I wanted to say. B-roll is not just you. B-roll can be like I used to do vlogs, used to. We'll get back there one day. Like that's the goal. Like it's literally all my like content strategy to do vlogs. And like, but I would literally B-roll the crowds. Like I would take footage of the crowds walking, right? Or I would take footage of the roller coaster going by. Like B-roll is the fluff film in between your actual what your story you're telling, right? B-roll supports that footage that you're telling that story with. Like again, it's all about storytelling. So how can you create this story for other people to understand? Because you have to remember, nobody's like in your mind. Nobody's like with you when you're taking this footage. They're not with you during your day. So whatever you're like, even if it's a post, right? So you're posting a post, right? The photo might not tell much, right? Anyone can look at the photo and be like, oh, it looks like she's with some people. They're at a bar or whatever, But the caption is where you're going to tell your story for that post, right?
Yeah.
And then, like Jackie's saying for her reels, she does a voiceover, right? That's where she's telling her story of what's happening in that video, right? For me, like if I do mini vlogs, I will sometimes do little voiceovers here and there, but usually I'll just do like I'll film myself talking in the middle of it, and be like, this is what we're doing today, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? So
And
it's all about storytelling. You're an
and
artist.
also you don't have to do a voiceover to tell a story.
Yeah.
But I would say you'd have to have more angles of what you're filming. If I'm just filming like the things I'm doing in the morning, like my morning, I've seen people do that, like my morning from blah, 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 to like the different times from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., whatever, or during my baby's nap. And they'll show themselves like I watch a lot of mom content. So, and they'll show themselves like cleaning, doing whatever, but you're seeing them like do the dishes, and then you're maybe seeing a different angle of them doing the dishes, and then you see them physically walking away, and then you see them entering a different room. Like they're moving around the camera just a ton just to get different angles. So that in its own, even if they're not saying anything, is telling the story because you're like physically watching them move around. So that's another way without
Yeah.
talking, if that makes you nervous, to
I
tell a
feel like
story.
too with B-roll, like if you're doing the same type of content over and over again, you're gonna pretty much in your head, like it's gonna be a habit. Like, okay, I get in the car, I turn on the keys, I film that. Walking down the stairs to even get in my car, I film that. Like it becomes a habit of what you kind of are filming because that's what, B-roll is that. And I think too, like we were saying, there's so many different ways to tell like a story. There's these vloggers I watch, they're from Hong Kong, and they very rarely talk in any of their YouTube videos. And like they talk once in a while, but they put their entire like story in like the captions, like the CC captions. And let me tell you, like it's one of my favorite vloggers to watch. They're so good. They're so relaxing. Like they take so many different angles. So it's being, again, they got creative with it. Like this is like how they're telling their story. I think too, like over a while, like there's people like I watch like one vlogger. I watch a lot of vloggers, obviously, but they do like a head count, right? They do like a head count. They're like, mommy here, daddy here, right? Like there's things that people are gonna notice because you do it all the time.
Yeah. And if that seems very overwhelming, you could do easy like POV, like POV's point of view. So people, if you might see that like POV and then it'll have something on the screen. Sometimes I just need something easy and it's just me, like old video that I have of me and I just write POV and then I write something like
Hmm.
most people, like I don't know why this just popped in my head, but like most people want to go out on a Friday night and here I am like creating a sourdough loaf. Like I love,
Yeah.
slow living or slow life or being with my family. Like that's just all like on the screen as text. I don't know if that's going to stick around 25. That's like still a trend, but I'm still doing that because that sometimes is like such an easy post for me. It's just like a bunch of on-screen text with some quick, however many second video.
You don't need, it doesn't need to be trendy. You do what you want. You're the
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
I think,
But
oh,
go ahead.
I was about to say what you're about to say, probably. But
Move on
another
to
thing
our
we
next
talked
point.
about is engaging with people like, their friends, not their followers, like really engaging with different people, building a community, like out of people that kind of like the same things as you. And then if you're not sure about your content or like you're looking for someone to look at your content, ask your friends and family to watch it, right? Interact with with content and all
Yeah.
that.
You could
Um,
also find other small
mhm.
creators that you meet online and be like, hey, like, have a little group chat. We used to do that back in the day. And like, just like a few people, and then be like, hey, like, when we all post, like, let's try to comment on each other's posts and like save it, whatever, do the
Yeah.
reposting. Like, let's try to like boost each other's pages and like support each other in that way.
I think that's too is like we think that all we have to do is just get the post up, right? No, it's doing the work, like making sure, and this is so hard for me. Like I think it's just my dysgraphia, like it takes over my brain thinking power, but like interacting with other people so important. Liking, interacting, messaging. Someone says it's my daughter's birthday and she posts about comment, be like happy birthday to your daughter, right? Like
Yeah.
it's hard because you start getting into this like rabbit hole of scrolling, but you have to remember like put a timer on, right? Make a checklist, right? Like that's what I used to do is I would like literally have a checklist of like every time I would interact with someone, I would like mark it, right? Like figure out how to do it. But creating content is creating a community too. You don't want to just like post, like it's
Yeah.
more to it.
A goal that I set for myself for this week, which is funny that you just said that, is 5 to 10 minutes before I post something, I want to interact. Right. If it's on TikTok, like you're reposting it, you're saving, whatever, doing, you're
Mhm.
commenting, you're liking, watching it the whole way through. So I want to do that for 5 to 10 minutes before and then 5 to 10 minutes after. And I thought about doing that for our Hermit Haven stuff too, because I've just been like quickly like trying to get it up and
Yeah.
just making some a little extra time, even if it's 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, then the app knows like you're active and it will help to push out your stuff more.
Yeah. I think too, like, you're like, well, how do I find people? Just add, like, literally search, like, let's say you love Disney World. I know I keep going back to Disney, but like, let's say you love Disney World. Search Walt Disney World page and start following people that follow their posts. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like these are like things we learned in network marketing, but like, even on Facebook, like, if we have like 10 mutual friends, I'm gonna go follow these people. If they follow me back, they follow me back. Like, I literally spent this morning just following random people. Like, who you never know. Like, I feel like a lot of people that watch my stuff are people that I've followed randomly and was like, okay, like, sometimes you don't have any interests and sometimes you do. The same thing on TikTok. Like, you just go on TikTok and start adding people. Like, who cares if none of these people are like actually your friends, right? I feel like you build more confidence. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I build more confidence when it's like a bunch of people I don't know because I'm like, who am I gonna like? Nobody really knows who I am, you know? I'm just showing them my story from this point of view.
Yeah, I've definitely made like random friends on all the apps and like people I don't really know in real life, but like we see each other's stuff and we comment. I don't know, like it's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Meeting strangers.
It's so cute too when like you're like actually like don't know each other and then they like you do something and they're like proud of you and they like tell you they're proud of you. I'm just like,
Um,
stop. Oh my
when I
God.
when I was like literally went offline and didn't post absolutely anything, I had people that I didn't know in real life that were messaging me on Facebook Messenger, like, "Where are you?
Yeah.
They don't even know me," and they're like, "Where are you? Are you okay?"
'Cause
I'm
they
like,
expect that good content.
yeah, it's cute. It's fun. And yeah, I don't know. You just like make little friends. And there's this one girl, I don't know her. I love her, all her posts. I don't know how I found her, but she started commenting on my stuff. So now like I'll repost her stuff and comment on her stuff and she'll do the same back to me. And she's really good though. I think that that's like a strategy of hers is whenever someone comments on her stuff, she'll go to their page and try to interact with their videos. And I post often, so it's easy to do that. Sometimes it's hard to do that because people aren't really posting. But anyway, that's
And
another
like
way to.
Facebook makes it so easy too. Like it tells you people's birthdays. So like literally message or comment happy birthday. Like it takes 2 seconds. But also here's the thing too, is if you're liking other people's posts and you're messaging them, you're gonna more likely see their stuff and they're more likely gonna see your stuff. So
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like engaging with the people that you already have in your network is important. And then you can find new ones, like Ashley said too. Okay, content creation tips. We're moving on to that.
yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We wrote down balance fun content with providing people with tips about something that you know. And I feel like the providing tips thing sometimes trips people up when they're very new to social media or they're new to
Mhm.
content creation world because they're like, what am I going to share? Like, I don't know anything. Like, what am I supposed to talk about? Oh my gosh, there's so many things you could talk about. Maybe you cook dinner for your family and you could talk about that. Maybe Ashley's always like, share your your lunches that you make for the boys. And I'm always like, no. Well, like, there are people that do that.
I think too, like, so Matt always tells me I should like share like toys and stuff and like share all these things that like I do with like a childcare provider. But like in reality, I tried that and it was just, even though I love talking about that stuff, I didn't feel like that was stuff I wanted to create content with because I
Yeah,
didn't know how to get creative with it. Like, I didn't want to like go buy all these toys and all these things. So I think that's the thing too, is like, even though you might be passionate about it, try it out and it might just not be what you're wanting to create content with, and that's okay.
I feel like you should create, I haven't told you, I'm telling you this right now, like as we're recording. I feel like you should create content on content creation. I feel like you have so much knowledge and so many ideas, and a lot of what we do for Hermit Haven comes from Ashley's brain. I'm not gonna, trying to just, I have some ideas too, but
She's
she
amazing. Don't
is
let her lie.
so, Ashley's so knowledgeable because she can like retain all of this information and remember it. I feel like
I
you'd be
just
great at that stuff.
I just do research. The thing is like even though I might be able to like be passionate and talk about it, I feel like I just like the creative aspect of like actually creating content of it is like overwhelming and it's just like doesn't feed my soul. Like
Yeah,
I'm just like, eh.
fair, fair.
That's what
And
it is. That's what I'm
it has
saying.
to be
Like
fun. Yeah.
it's not fun to me. Like.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, we kind of already talked about this a little bit. But yeah, I mean, giving recommendations like maybe you're a toddler mom and you have your toddler's favorite toys, or maybe you cook dinner for your family every week, or maybe you're on a weight loss journey, so you can recommend some foods that are like lower calorie that helped you out. Or maybe you love playing a certain sport and you can talk about, tips on how to be better at that sport, or you have kids and you play the sport, like this is how I get out to be able to do the things I love even though I have kids. Like there's like an endless amount of things that you could talk about. And so giving people tips on what you already do is huge. So
Huge. It's part of
there's
content
that.
creating, right? There's different types of content. There's like entertainment, there's giving tips, like, right? There's just so many different types of content. So it's just one of those types of content.
I majority of my TikTok, I have 12.4 thousand TikTok followers, and almost all of them are from my sourdough videos. And I love sourdough and I still talk about it, but I don't just want to talk about sourdough. So I'm like transitioning into like other things, but still videos that I've posted a year and a half to 2 years ago are still getting shared and favorited and reposted every single day. So you truly just never know where people are going to come from and what's going to pop off.
What's
And
gonna go viral? I have it.
yeah,
So I have this one I have more than one viral video on TikTok, but I have this one viral video on TikTok. And I know I haven't posted on TikTok in a while because when I haven't, that one video will be like all suddenly liked more and stuff. Like TikTok will push out that video. And it's so funny to me. I'm like, oh, I must have not posted in a while because now I'm getting like 20 likes on my one viral video,
it's so funny.
which is like a Disney video.
Yeah, you just never know. And sometimes videos, it will take a little while. Like I had posted, it was like one of my first carousels where I actually, so a carousel on Instagram or TikTok is just the photos where you can scroll right through and see all the pictures. And I did one for sourdough. And it didn't get very many views at first. And I was like, whatever, I just wanted to try it. Like I'd never really made one. Well, now that post has about 30,000 views on Instagram. And I was like, oh, where did that come from out of nowhere? But like, you just never know when things are just gonna
Yeah.
like push out. So anyway, there's that.
So there's
Anything else about that?
no, I think we covered it. We'll probably talk about it again, knowing us. Probably come back to it.
We do love talking about this stuff. We could, if you guys have more things you want to know, like we do love talking about this. You could always ask us, and we could do another video like this.
Yeah. I feel like
We
we've
want to
just
talk.
done a lot of research and like we've experienced a lot.
Yeah, I mean, now it's 2025, and I've been doing this since 2014. So, and there's been a lot of changes and a lot of new apps and new things that we can use now that we've never used before. So, and we do look into this stuff because this is we do this for a living. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And to get more people to see our podcast, we have to do social media. So we're working on that too. We wanted to talk about some content creation tools that we use, like our favorites that we use that we think are amazing. So for editing, I basically only use the InShot app. I know CapCut was a thing. I know you can't download CapCut right now, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll bring it back, but
Hopefully. CapCut was great for templates. So good
yeah,
for
if you have
templates.
it, you could use it. If you don't have it, you can't download it. So maybe one day it'll come back. But I love InShot. I've used that for years, and that's basically the only place that I really edit. Once in a while, I will edit in TikTok. I don't love it, but if I don't have to edit a lot, then sometimes I'll do it in there. But InShot just is really easy,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
use
just
InShot too. I use it for video editing mostly. And
yeah,
then
video.
I use that for video editing. And then I actually started using it like, let's say there's like a bunch of stuff in my background. I'll use the blurring effect on there to like blur the background of my photos. So it kind of is like what's the type of photo again? A portrait style photo.
Yeah, on InShot.
Yeah.
I'm not so bad. I never play with any of the
And
fun things.
then I think Jackie also uses I'm pretty sure we both use Lightroom to actually edit our photos. So Jackie actually downloaded like filters for Lightroom and like you can buy these off Etsy. But I actually made my own filters in Lightroom and I've been using the same like 8 filters for like since the beginning, like since 2019. Like I literally just and
Yeah.
they're like the funniest names ever. Like they're basically based off of like the original photos. So there's like one called Andy and there's one called like mountains or something. Like there's so many random, but I use like the one of the tips I've heard and I think I've stuck to is just continue using the same filters. Like just use the same filters. Like you want your profile to look the same.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
did. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, but I always forget to use filters for videos, and I have to like remind myself, like I'm like, oh,
Can you do
filter.
that?
On InShot, you can use a filter,
Oh, true. I was like,
not
where?
Lightroom.
Okay.
So
Um, I did buy them on Etsy. I will say I only use like a handful of them and I have like a jillion and it's very overwhelming. So I mean, you do what you will. I didn't pay very much for like the
Mhm.
jillion filters that I got, but I just don't think you need a ton because you're only going to use like a couple of them. So
Yeah.
just look and kind of find ones that you want. But I thought it was easy just to buy them. I don't know how to make them. So I did buy them, but I do use them. I like them.
Yeah, I can't tell you how I made them at this point. I haven't made one in a while, so but I have
Yeah.
them all made. And that's actually some people actually make a revenue. So they pay for the Adobe subscription and then they sell they'll make filters and sell them. And
Yeah.
that's how they make a revenue. So that's another,
Yeah.
there's a one of the girls I follow, she's, always like, these are the filters I made, use these filters, you can buy them here.
Yeah. There's,
So,
oh, there's so many ways to make income. Yeah. So love Lightroom.
yeah.
Uh, Canva is newer to me. Ashley's used it a lot more than me, but I really do like it. We've used it a lot for like the templates and stuff that they have on there for use it for Instagram story templates, which I always heard people say like templates. And I'm like, what the heck is that though? I never went in
It's
to
just
look at it.
so
They are.
easy. Yeah, Canva. I will say I tried editing my vlogs in Canva at one point, and there's just things I couldn't do in there that I would like to do. But I've used Canva like to create like for my vlogs like different titles and stuff. So
Yeah, we've used them for a lot of the Hermit Haven, like Instagram stories, posts, and things like that. So there's you can go in there and look around, but there's so many different things. My sister just used it for her daughter's invitation for her birthday party. Like there's just so many things that you could do in there. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's like
and you can do that.
another revenue income. People will sell Canva templates or like people will design stuff in Canva and sell it. Do be careful though, if you use a Canva template, you can't sell it. Has to be something you made.
Yeah, you have to like add an element to it, I think. I think you
Yeah,
might
it
have to have
has,
the pro version. I don't know. Do you?
you don't need the pro version technically. I pay for the pro version because there's a lot of things that you can do that you can't do with the non-pro version. And so I just pay for it because why not spend more money that I shouldn't be spending?
I have the free version. I have the free version of InShot, free version. I don't know if you is a paid version of Lightroom, but I
I
have the free version of
I
Canva.
paid for like the InShot that's like forever.
Yeah.
So
Well, I didn't.
I just
Um,
did it.
Ashley, you want to talk about Lens Bunny?
I love Lens Buddy. Okay,
I'm
so
so
to
about
take
it.
all my photos, like when I'm doing a big photo shoot or like when I want photos and videos of something, I use Lens Buddy. It is literally the best app for like photography, like taking on your phone. You literally could tell it like I want 50 photos and I want it to take it every 3 seconds. I want a timer. I want like torchlight, like I want it to be filmed. I want it to be alive. And it does all of it. Literally, you just press one button and you just click it instead of using like your timer on your like photos and like having to reset it every time. It literally will take 25 photos of you and you're
Yeah,
done. And I
it's
always
really cool.
find something. It's amazing.
I always forget about it, but whenever I'm with Ashley, which we don't get to be together anymore, but whenever we were, she would set the Lens Buddy, and so it would take a video of whatever we were doing, but it would also take like rapid like 50
Yeah,
photos of us. So you get those like photos of like haha laughing or whatever, and you get a bunch of them, so you could choose from one, but you also have the photo, so
it's
it's
so
cool.
good. I love Lens Buddy. It's been like my creator like tool for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know what Teza is. Do you?
So Tezza is another editing app. I really like Tezza. There's a lot of free filters on there. So if you're not like wanting to go like download Lightroom and buy filters or like do all these things, Tezza has really good filters. I actually use it for my background photos. They are all the same filter and they look so cute. But I recommend Tezza if you're just like want something simple to edit your photos in.
Cute. I'll have to look it up. Never used that one.
It's
Um,
so I love them. They're so good with the filters.
Cute. Teza. Okay, I'll have to download that one and look at it.
Another
iMovie.
Yes, I was gonna say you said first iMovie. I've been using iMovie. There is more like complex like editing for videos. Like you can use Adobe, you can use Final Cut Pro. iMovie's free. It's on every device. It's super free. It's super easy. That's what I use to edit all of our like Hermit Haven stuff. That's what I use to edit my vlogs. You can watch YouTube videos on like how to use it to be like more comp like do a couple extra stuff, I would say, than just like basic editing. But like literally you can use iMovie to edit like videos that are for like Amazon, like whatever you wanted to use it for, but like love iMovie. It's just simple and simple is good.
Yeah. I always think of iMovie for like longer
Mhm.
videos. Would you do like a shorter like TikTok situation on there, like a short form
You
video or no?
can. I honestly have never like played around with like switching it like horizontal and like, you
It,
know.
it creates it to horizontal
That's what I
automatically.
think. But I've used it for Amazon before, so I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, editing in the social media apps, which I used to back in the day edit in Instagram, but I feel like editing in Instagram, TikTok isn't as easy. It's not too hard. For TikTok, I have to like go where it you edit and you can like splice it and whatever in that screen, and I have to like pinch it and zoom it in because if you do that, you can see a it's easier to like edit the clip in the spot that you want it. I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah, no.
explain, but
I've edited TikTok too. It's much easier than Instagram and like Facebook and all the other ones. But it's definitely
like
harder than like other
InShot is
apps.
still easier.
But if you do edit in TikTok, you can actually, after you upload the video, click the three dots and press download, and it'll download the video with no watermark,
Hmm.
which is newer. Because back in the
Okay.
day, it would.
All right. Next thing, keep your content ideas in one place. I'm
Yes, that is such a
really
big
bad about
one. Create a
that.
system and stick with it.
Yeah, I was really bad about that. I mean, I would have it in my notes app, but I would have like multiple notes, and then I would never find any of them. So I would say either have like a pinned note where you put every single idea in there. If you're going to use your notes app, I wouldn't do
Mhm.
like a bunch, or have a notebook where all you do, maybe if you're a paper and pen, some people are like, I cannot do it, then one notebook where you have all your ideas in there. I think it's easier to have something digital because say that I'm like out at a random place and I just have an idea pop in my brain. What am I going to do? Wait until I get home? I will forget it by then. So yeah.
Yeah.
I just started using Notion within the past 6 months because of Ashley. So I just have a page, which I don't know if that makes you crazy, but I just have one page in Notion because I know where it's at, where I put every single idea in there.
Yeah.
And I have
Love Notion. So good. I also like using like so I think I have a lot of my ideas in Notion, but I like planning first in my Good Notes like app, which is like just like a digital notebook. And then like I was telling Jackie, I like putting all my final decisions in Notion. I will say I have a lot of random ideas in Notion, but I never really look at my ideas. I kind of just have like a content strategy and I kind of just like I feel like my brain works better on the fly but like not on the fly. Like I need to plan it like the week before, but like that's still on the fly. Like so.
Yeah. I like writing. If I have an idea, I'm like, oh, I could use that for a video. Then I like to write it down. And then when I'm planning out like what I want to do, then I like to go reference that and be like, oh, that idea, that would be perfect for this week.
Mhm.
So I like having that. You could also just use like a Word document if you just want to like do
My
something like that.
yeah, my brain got so tripped up though. It was like, how do I plan? Like, do I look at my ideas? Do I look at this? I literally had to like sit down. This is how my brain works. I had to like sit down and make a list of like what order to plan my stuff in. Like start with like life events, then do this, then do that. Like my brain was like, there's so many different ways to plan. And so I feel like to just find your way to plan and go with it.
Yeah. Okay, let's try to go a little faster here. So let's move on to do you batch create? I feel like I cannot really, yeah, I feel like I can't speak to batch creation because it's just not something I would like to be good at it. It's just not something that I've done yet.
I tempt it. So I would say like I have folders where I can like add my photos every week just to make it easier because I will get overwhelmed when I'm like, I want to make a monthly vlog, right? Like, or I want to make a weekly vlog, like I get overwhelmed. So having folders is a great way. You can use Drive, you can use your iCloud, that you can also make a content bank, like I was saying earlier, which is a great way of like, which is like, again, I would love to do that. get overwhelmed going back and looking at all my photos and video. I will say the most I batch create is like creating my captions the week ahead of time. Like
Yeah.
today, I'll probably sit down and create all my captions for the week coming up.
Yeah. In case you're like, what the heck you're talking about, batch creation is like where you plan out and like create a ton of videos at one time or a ton of captions at one time or whatever, ton of ideas at one time could even be. So a lot of people like to do that. As far as like videoing batch creation, I just feel like I can't get there. I have too many interruptions and things going on in my day to be able to like be that coordinated. But I feel like we were talking right before this, and captions is something I could probably work on batch creating so that I just need to figure out what video goes with it. That would be easier for the week.
Yeah, and I think too, like besides creating all those captions, I put them all in Notion. So I have my entire content strategy like in my calendar in Notion, and then I will put those captions in Notion. And then I actually instead of putting the photos in Notion, because like I feel like that's just like I'm gonna just upload it from my photos. I actually just have a photo album. It's like content for this week, and I just put all the photos I've edited for this week in there. So I just quickly grab them and post, and it's easy.
Love it. And Notion is an online database. That could be a whole other thing, but you can go Google what Notion is and
Hmm.
look at videos and stuff of how to do it if you want to use Notion. A lot of people recommend it, especially a lot of content creators. It just takes a little bit to learn it and figure it out. I'm still learning it.
Yeah, and there's free templates that Notion has on their like
True.
website, or Etsy sells like them for not too much either.
Yeah. Yeah. We already
So,
talked about ChatGPT.
mhm.
So using that to ask like, can give me 10 ideas for blah blah blah. I mean, you can even go Google like Chat GPT content scripts or like whatever they call them, like the little
Yeah, like how to
whatever.
use it. What
Like,
I
well,
use,
just things that you could put in. I mean, people even have videos about that now. Like use this to put into Chat GPT and get all your ideas or all your captions or whatever, like 30 days of content. I don't know.
what I used to do is I would I know I'm gonna do an interaction post every Friday. I would just go and like pre-write like 10 of them and put them under like the original content strategy. So I just done. Like certain things I feel like you can do ahead of time. Captions is one of the easiest.
Yeah, captions for sure. I know you already talked about Content Bank, and you said that you create folders for different series sometimes, so that you like have like in your iPhone, right? Like an
Yeah.
iPhone folder.
So you could do it either. I found it's harder doing in photo albums because you can't copy it every month. So if you're doing the same series every month, you have to like remake it. So Jackie actually introduced me to iCloud folders. So I've been using iCloud, and then I actually have Google Drive where I have like literally I will say anytime someone posts a good interaction question or like a good like interaction thing, I have an entire Google Drive folder of just interaction stuff. Or I have like an entire folder of just quotes, right? So just like if you see something you like, save it. Put it in a
Yeah,
folder somewhere. Like go back to it that way.
yeah, yeah. iPhones have the files, which I never used to use until we started doing Hermit Haven. And I was like, oh, look, we can put videos and photos and stuff in folders in there and like have everything kind of organized. So, um, that's one. That's another idea.
Yeah.
You talk
And
about people that
oh, I was gonna say we keep trying to reach our spine. It's so cute. But I was gonna say we actually love watching different YouTuber vloggers and like learning from them. And so we wanted to like tell you about who we watch. We pretty much watch the same. Some of them are a little different, and they all kind of have similarities and kind of have differences. So you can read the names. You're better at that part.
So Katie Steckley, last name is Steckly. I was just listening to her videos this morning and like binging them. I found her from Ashley, but she has amazing, and she just breaks it down so well. I highly recommend if you want to learn more about specifically Instagram, and just like content creation, I guess in general. Katie Steckley is amazing, and she
Yeah.
has grown her social media a ton over the past year. So she actually like knows what she's talking about, and she just makes it seem so easy. So I love that.
I feel like
Um,
the next one, Modern Millie, is very similar to Katie Steckley. Same thing. She breaks down different things. I think she just did like a whole like if she was starting a YouTube in 2025, like what would she do? Vanessa Lou, how would you say them?
Lau, Lau.
Yeah, she's also very similar in that kind of thing. Those three I would say very good with like how to do this on social media and break it down.
Yeah. I started listening. I just found her like in my feed. Tess Barclay. It's her business is Busy Blooming. Like that's her like
Mhm.
whatever content creation business. And I just love her vibes. And she's also amazing at talking, like kind of going in depth about content strategy and all sorts of stuff. And she just has really good vibes. I really like her.
Yeah. Another person I recommend, will you read the name?
Yeah, I think it's Jevin Bove. Its first name is Jeven, last name Vovey.
He
Yeah.
is so good, like talking about how to tell your story. Like, if you really want to learn more about telling your story on social media, he is the person. Like, I have watched so many of his videos. I've recommended his videos so many times because he just talks so much about that story creation. Another thing is besides YouTubers, and there's more. Like, literally, all you have to do is literally type in, like, if you want to learn about digital products, type in digital products. Like, that's all you gotta do is like go on YouTube and do that. Another thing is I would recommend finding Facebook groups. There is so many Facebook groups out there. Like I found one for Disney content creating. There's mom groups you can add, being like, hey, can we support each other? I remember when I started vlogging, there was one for vlogs in Orlando. Like that's another great place to go. Another thing is like in the beginning, don't think you're just doing this for income. Like this is not your sole purpose. Like have fun with it. That's what it's for, you know? And at the end of the day, if you make income, then you're doing all the right things. And it's about your goals too. If you don't have goals, then you're not going to get there. Yeah, like again, just continuing like if you have goals, you're going to get to where you want to be. Like you don't need to like dip your toes in every single thing, right? Find what like matches who you are. So like if you're really into fashion, right? You might be into creating what should I call it? You might be able to like reach out to brands and be like, hey, like, can we trade posts for fashion? Or you might become an Amazon influencer. But like, let's say you're just like a mom that wants to like do daily day life. Like maybe paid sounds is where you go, which is I've been doing paid sounds. There's a couple websites. It really depends on your followers for paid sounds. But I use like there's like two I use, Soundme, and then I think it's like Genie or Jenny. It's
Gennie, right?
yeah. And the genie one is like a contest base. So you only win if you get like a certain amount of likes. But honestly, I always win the most creative, which is like somewhere between maybe $5 to like $15. But like imagine you post one video and you make $15 off of it. So now imagine if you post like 10 videos and you make $15 off every video. Right? Soundme is just like literally it's an app and they're bumping right now with sounds. I haven't done Soundme in a little bit, but Soundme you get like paid whatever it says per whatever post. So, and then again, collaborations, right? You can reach out to people, you can pitch to people, or there's apps. There's tons of apps. Like there's one called Kale. There's like another one. I have so many of these apps, but there's so many apps. I think Spotify does one. Not Spotify. Ooh, I can't think of the name of it, but literally like if you just search it online, you'll find it and it'll be like blah 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 blah. This one, you know? I'm trying to see if I can find another one. Oh, look, we're in business right now. So let me look. Oh, another thing I forgot to say for apps is you can going back brain fart, but Epidemic Sound, you do have to pay for it, but that's what I use for all my vlogging music and all my music for like TikTok videos and all that. So I don't have to like go find a sound sometimes if I'm not doing like the other stuff. There's Pair Pop for paid sounds. There's Reach also for paid sounds. I'm looking for the other ones though. I have like a
You know
folder.
what? Talking about sounds, I don't know if this is just something that creators have or if everyone has it, but if you're on Instagram, you should probably just switch to creator mode anyway because you get insights and stuff. But Katie, when I was watching her this morning, she was saying that on the professional dashboard, like on your home screen, when you click it, I didn't know about this. You probably did, but I did not. Um, there's something where it will recommend recommended branded content. Oh, here. Trending audio.
Mhm.
I just scrolled down. and then you could see the different trending audio that you could use. So rather than like scrolling through reels trying to find a trend, because I was always like, how do you find a trending audio? All you got to do is go there. So you just go to your professional dashboard from your home screen and then scroll all the way down, and then
It'll also
I
come
don't
up
know.
when you post the rail. Like it'll give you options of trending audio, and that's my biggest recommendation is switch the sounds out. So like TikTok, your trending audio is going to be different, especially if you're doing paid sounds. Like if I'm doing paid sounds with my, because it's usually TikTok that you do paid sounds,
Mhm.
then on Instagram, I'm going to pick a trending audio. And then on Facebook, because I get paid for my posts, I'm going to pick one that is royalty free. So I get paid the majority of the money. So like
Yeah.
definitely switch your sounds. Going back to like UGC and like brand collabs, we sponsored is another one, Billow Create, Amazon, like to know it, right? And again, you have to build up your social medias to be able to like get there, but once you do, you're in. And I think for Amazon and ask for a website, I think I used like my link in bio is my website.
Yeah.
So but there's different ways, like we said, you can do paid like digital products is a big thing. You can sell those on Etsy. You can make a journal and sell that on Amazon KDP, which is like where you sell books for Amazon. So
Yeah.
really there's so many ways that you don't even have to create content. Like let's say you don't want to put your face out there, right? Let's say you take all our tips and you're like, I don't want to put my face out there. You don't have to. There's a lady, I was telling Jackie about her, but she was a guest at my hotel I worked at, and she makes an income on social media for making music and selling books. She's not an influencer. She does not post any content, but she makes all her money online.
Yeah.
So, or you could be like a faceless account and just post like things, right? You
Yeah.
don't need
There's
to have your face out there.
absolutely.
And I think we're at the end of our episode. If you want to hear more, like we said, we can literally talk about this like all day. So if you want to hear more,
More.
you
There's
let us
always
know.
more.
We will come back with a part two if that's what you want, with more tips and more tricks. I'm sure we can come up with a lot more. But we want to know like what fears are holding you back from content creating. And your voice matters, even if it's small, even if one person connects with your messages, that's enough. Just remember that. And don't make this like something I was telling Jackie is like, you shouldn't make it like a habit for the views. Like, don't do this for
Yeah.
the views. Do this because you want to have fun and be that creative artist that's posting their stuff. And again, if you have goals and you are taking the time to learn about these different revenue streams, you're going to get there, right? Like, I didn't like one day overnight, like I didn't just like pop up on Facebook and then like get paid for my Facebook post. Like it definitely was a process, right? Jackie didn't one day just post on TikTok and get paid for it. Like it was a process, right? But if you're doing all the things you should be doing, you will get to where your goals want you to be.
Yep. Just
Anything you want
gotta
to
start. I don't know, just be consistent and just have fun and learn and go look on YouTube at learn from other people, look at other people's. I would say like definitely you can learn from other people on the social media apps. I'm personally trying to stay off a little bit more because I feel like I take it to a place of
add?
comparison, which is never a good thing. So I prefer to go learn on YouTube because there's a lot of creators out there that will give you all sorts of tips, and I don't know. It just helps me
Yeah.
think a little bit better when I'm not on the app. But
Eh,
there's so many options.
I think too, like something we were talking about is like don't go in the rabbit hole of scrolling. So make time for scrolling, but remember if you're on your social media and you're a content creator, you're here to work. So this is my work hour, not my scrolling hour.
Right. Absolutely. And if you have to put like a time limit on your social media apps or whatever to remind you, even if you don't, if you say ignore, at least it's reminding you like, hey, you've been on this app for an hour today or whatever it is. You can be like, oh man.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Apple has like where you can put in how long you want to be on that. Give and take, it will be like 15 more minutes or one more minute, and then you fall into the rabbit hole. But like when it tells you to stop scrolling, you say okay and you get off of it. But like it's so good to like look at I mean, it's just who we are. But like I'll literally look at my times for the day and I'm like, oh, I definitely was on there way too long today.
Yeah. Social media is really fun. You can learn a lot. You can make a lot of friends. There's so many benefits to it, but also like this is your real world and you need to love the world that you're living in too. And all you're doing is just sharing a small glimpse of it online and looking at other people's small glimpses too.
Which I feel like we didn't say, but that's so important what Jackie just said. Like, this is just little glimpse of your life. Like, and that's what people are showing. They're not showing the whole story. They're showing the story they want to tell.
Right.
Well, we love you. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, let us know by commenting or liking or however you want to do this. If you feel like there's someone that needs to hear this, share this with them. And we'll be back every 2 weeks for book club and once a week with our wonderful convos. We love you all so much, and we hope you have a good day.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.